Guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Now, in today's video, guys, I'm going to be doing a hopefully quick review for the new Hellraiser movie, the Hellraiser 2022 movie that released on streaming I think about a week ago now, so I know I'm a little bit late to it. I kind of even just contemplated doing this review in the first place, because I'm not going to be doing a ranking or anything like that along with it until, maybe the future sometime when I don't really have anything else to do. But there is, of course, a lot of other videos that I'm going to have to release this month with Halloween Ends coming out. Today is Thursday. I will be watching Halloween Ends today, releasing an initial reaction after the movie, and then hopefully a review and ranking soon after that, and also a ton of other videos that are Halloween franchise related coming out this month as well. So I'm going to be very busy with those for a while, which means also if you are a part of the, or if you are subbed to the Ars Political channel and you're looking for more content on that, it's probably going to be a while before I get back to doing content on that channel, because I would really like to focus on this channel right now, with it obviously being Halloween season and stuff like that. So yeah, just stay tuned. There is going to be a lot of new stuff coming out this month, and I'm sure some of you are really excited for that. Also, as you can tell, this is post-op-ed for the surgery. Things are starting to get back to normal for me. Obviously, it's still going to sound a little bit weird. It doesn't necessarily hurt to talk. I don't really struggle talking or anything like that. But I'm sure on your end, it probably sounds different from what you're used to and stuff like that. So, don't mind that. But it's probably going to be that way for, a couple more weeks, maybe even a month, once things finally fully get healed. But other than that, I think that's really all I gotta say. And yeah, just getting on to this review, to give you an idea of what this movie is about, for those of you who have not watched it. And I'm gonna try not to include any spoilers in this review either. Basically, this young girl, who lives with her brother, her brother's boyfriend, and then, yeah, I think it's I just think it's them, because her boyfriend in this movie doesn't live with her. Yeah, so she lives with her brother and her brother's boyfriend, and she's struggling with addiction. Her brother can very well tell, he notices that, very well, and he's very, overbearing, kind of overprotective, always worried about her and stuff like that. So she goes out one night, and she discovers the box, which, obviously if you watch the Hellraiser movies, you know what the box is for. And her brother, sees her out at night, after she tampers with the box, and then she, she's like bleeding, and she's kind of confused and stuff like that, and eventually her brother just disappears once she wakes back up, and she doesn't really know exactly what happened. So her boyfriend, and her brother's boyfriend have to kind of figure out what happened, what caused all of this. They kind of got to learn, the history behind this box, to figure out, what happened to her brother and how they can get him back and stuff like that. So along this journey of them trying to figure out what happened, we also kind of learn about the box and how it works and stuff like that. And obviously all the Hellraiser movies kind of have different rules, different lore behind the box and the Cenobites in general. So it's kind of confusing, but if you kind of forget about all the other sequels and you just think about this one and then the original Hellraiser, of course, then it's a lot more, easier to understand how everything works and stuff like that. So that's kind of a general consensus on how the movie, on what the movie is about. So, what do I like about this movie? Well, as I kind of already mentioned, I like that this movie is very simple to understand for the most part. A lot of the other Hellraiser movies, because they're not really about the Cenobites, a lot of them just kind of just put the Cenobites as a background and focus on something else instead. It makes it very, very confusing to tie everything together. But in this movie, what I really, really like is that they do focus on the box, and not so much the Cenobites, because the Cenobites have always sort of been a background part, but I like that they focus on the box, and it makes it very easy to understand the rules behind the box, the lore, everything like that. And then they kind of tie in their own unique aspect with who is really our main villain, and, spoiler alert, it's not the Cenobites, because most of the time it isn't anyway. And so they add in their own villain into this movie who I think has an interesting motive, and it's very satisfying at the end when everything starts to conclude and things like that. So yeah, I like that this movie is easy to understand. I like the antagonist in this movie a lot, and I also kind of like the protagonist as well. You can see how she's struggling and stuff like that. You're not necessarily empathetic unless you're an addict or anything like that, but you can kind of understand her position a little bit. So we have a semi likable protagonist. She's obviously not going through a very good life, but it's definitely a lot better than the protagonist we've had in the many other sequels where they're just really, really weird. They have very, very strange thoughts and stuff like that. But at least with this protagonist, it at least feels like she has good morals. Unlike the many other protagonists we've had, where you're kind of questioning if we're even supposed to like this main character. So I like the protagonist. I like the antagonist in this movie. I like that it's easy to understand. I think that's really what else did I like about this as well? The Cenobites look pretty good for the most part. When I first saw, you know, the images for this movie and stuff like that, and I saw what Pinhead looked like, um, it's definitely a lot better. For it being a female Pinhead, it's definitely a lot better than the past few non Doug Bradley actors we've had, especially in Revelations. Judgment was all right, but especially in Revelations, that was terrible. So for being a female Cenobite, I think they actually did a pretty good job, especially with the practical effects. The other Cenobites look pretty good. They bring back some of the original Cenobites as well, like the Chatterer, and then I forget what the other one is, but she's got the wire through the neck and things like that. So I really like that. Practical effects look pretty good. So yeah, didn't really have any problem with that part. And I guess really, I'm not really sure. Moving past the positives now, I'm not really sure if there's anything negative that I have to say about this movie, but I definitely think that the fan base has made this movie seem better than it really is. I've watched a lot of rankings for this movie already, and a lot of people have been putting this in like the number two spot. They're saying it's like the best Hellraiser sequel we've had. And I don't think I necessarily agree with that. I still think that the early Hellraiser sequels, and by that I mean the non-direct-to-video ones like what was it, Bloodlines, Hellbound, and Hell on Earth. I believe those are the three. I still think those three are better, mainly because it's not a direct-to-video film, and so the atmosphere and the theme are a lot different, and I think are a lot better for a Hellraiser movie. So maybe it's just because this is another direct-to-video one, and it's hard to like a direct-to-video Hellraiser movie. I just think the tone is better when you have a a movie that actually is put into theaters. I think this movie still could have. I think it still could have done decent if it went to the theaters because it doesn't feel a whole lot like a direct-to-video movie. But there are a few elements that kind of make it feel that way. But it it definitely has a lot better theme than a lot of these other direct-to-video sequels we have had for the Hellraiser movies, where you can tell it's very low budget. The writing is really really bad. But in this movie, it's definitely improved. So I think it's the best direct-to-video we've had for the Hellraiser franchise, but I don't think it's the best Hellraiser sequel, if that makes sense. So I don't think it's as good as people have made it out to be, and I don't think there's really any negatives that I have for this movie, other than just all I can say is it's not as good as people say it is. But it's definitely an improvement, and it is a really really solid direct-to-video film. And I think it honestly could have worked if it was put into theaters. I think you'd get a decent audience. It's not like it's gonna make a whole bunch of money, but I think it could do a decent job with how good the writing is, the practical effects, the just kind of the overall theme and atmosphere. So yeah, not really any main issues that I have with this movie. But yeah, overall, what am I gonna give for a rating for this movie? I believe on Rotten Tomatoes I give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So plugging that into um, an out of 10 score, I think I'm going to give it, obviously, a 3.5 out of 5 would equate to what would it be, a 7 out of 10? I think I'm going to give this movie a 6.5 out of 10. I don't think it's enough to be a 7 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 6.5. I think that's a lot more fitting score, at least for me. So yeah, just overall, giving my last kind of consensus about this movie. Um, it's not as good. If you've watched reviews, you've watched rankings. Um, I can't tell you how you're gonna feel about this movie, but I definitely don't think it's as good as people have been saying it is. But as a direct-to-video movie, I think it's pretty great. It's pretty solid. And there's nothing really much more to say. That is it for the review. Stay tuned for the plethora of horror content that is going to be coming within these next few weeks of October. I hope you guys are excited, are just as excited as I am. I'm going to be watching Halloween Ends tonight, and I'm really excited to just release this content. I think I'm more excited to release this content than I am to watch the movie. Not putting the movie down or anything like that. I am, of course, I am still excited to watch the movie, but I'm really excited to make this content and make these kind of final rankings. Because I was gonna do them last year, but I decided to push it till this year to not have to make the same ranking only a year after, because it would seem like my opinions would change significantly, but from where I'm looking at now, not so much. Maybe a little bit. So we'll just see after I watch Halloween Ends how it all falls, and how the plane lands. But yeah, other than that, I think that is it for the review. Stay tuned for that content. And like I said, if you are subbed to the Ars Political channel, sorry I've not uploaded in a while. First of all, I was really busy, so I wasn't able to make videos on both of the channels, and now I need to focus on the Ars Horror channel, the main channel right now, a whole lot. So I will remind you guys when the content hopefully starts to come back, but as of right now, don't really expect anything. And I think that is it. Yeah, like and subscribe, guys, and I will see you in the next video.